Parliament, and I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Madam President, we thank our briefers today for their information. We have to note that the situation in the CAR remains tense and that fighting is still ongoing. The governmental forces, with the support of MINUSCA, nonetheless have managed to hold back attempts by rebels to seize new territory and move towards Bongi, or to cut off provisions to the capital and to main towns and cities. We're concerned by reports of regrouping of fighters and their financial support and provision from outside. To fight smuggled weapons, country members and neighbours rather of the CAR must increase their controls over borders. International support for the legal authorities in Bongi should continue and should have a comprehensive and coordinated character. In this context, we welcome the inclusion of ECAS and the ICGLR in UN efforts and those of foreign partners towards stabilization. Having said this, any mediation initiatives by regional players should be carried out with the agreement of and the participation of the government of the Central African Republic. We know about the initiative of the head of the ICGLR, Angola, and the president of ECAS, the president of the Republic of Congo, to organize an open dialogue with the UN Security Council on the prospects for supporting Bongi in overcoming the crisis. And we think such contacts are useful. President, on the 6th of February 2019, a political agreement was signed, and the provisions of that document are the basis for achieving a lasting peace and security in the country. Unilateral attempts to water down or replace these agreements are unacceptable. We think it is important to send a message to those armed groups who've deviated from the political agreement about the need to return to fulfilling the obligations they've entered into. There are a number of tasks facing Central Africans in the near future, and these include creating the conditions for successful parliamentary elections and the formation of a new legislature. Bongi should be provided with additional assistance in guaranteeing security in those constituencies where, in December 2020, because of the coalition of Patriots for Change, the election was broken off. President, we support the call from officials in Bongi to further loosen the arms embargo, which would allow the legally elected authorities in CAR to more effectively counter armed groups. Recent events have clearly demonstrated that the sanctions regime on this country needs to be adapted in timely fashion, including from the primary objective of allowing the central authorities to spread its power across the territory of the country. With regard to the Secretary General's proposal of sending additional peacekeepers to the country, then we would first and foremost bear in mind here the position of the host country. We know that Bongi is ready to work closely with the Secretariat of the United Nations to further agree modalities for capacity building within MINUSMA. Stabilization in the country requires the multifaceted support of legitimate authorities in the CAR, including on questions of increasing the training and effectiveness of the national security forces. In the middle of December 2020, there was an escalation of the conflict, and during that, the Central African security forces sustained a heavy blow. Nonetheless, with the support of bilateral partners and blue helmets, they were able to guarantee the elections could be held and also prevent the capital or a range of other cities from being seized. For the long-term solution of the situation, it's important to further build capacity of the country's armed forces. For our part, we are ready to work with international partners of Bongi and with MINUSCA to continue to provide wholehearted support to the population and the government of the country. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation for her statement.